Hey guys, tightrope here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Crossroads. Playing today's spawning in the north, we have DaPope playing as Ostheer, who has Spearhead, Assault Support, and Jaeger Infantry. Opposing them from the other side is Haaallow with Soviets and Guard Combined Arms. In terms of rankings, DaPope around 60 and Haaallow around 120. This commander has fallen out of favour a bit ever since that KV-1 did get nerfed. Had its changed from being have received damage to just a flat health bonus. It takes a very long time to repair it up nowadays. Kind of similar to the Churchill, but not quite as bad as the Churchill. It's a tremendous amount of health. But I suppose by that same token is also a better tank. Alright, first engagement over here. Or first proper engagement. Two Grenadiers against the Soul Conscript. Pretty large amount of map control at the moment for Haaallow. DaPope taking it easy. Getting his munis captured very late as well. The squad actually came out of suppression while the MG was switching around. Does manage to resuppress them though. And if you're really smart, you could have a read on where everybody's units are, where all the units are at the moment. One here, one here, one here. And otherwise, you'd have to be worried about maybe a unit coming in from the flank. And if you've got the reads at this particular point in the match, you could be aware that that's not likely to happen. The Haaallow now could potentially have a squad running up, like a squad of combat engineers or conscripts at least. It's time to go for one fewer squad than normal though. And does go for the early medics. I personally cannot keep track of how many units my opponent has, so what exact timings, but you know, if you're really honing the art, you can do it. 4 Grenadiers meanwhile for DaPope, that's a lot. But he has been a little bit lacking in territory control, so I can understand it. And as I said, he was late capping his muni point. He kind of capped that just about last. With Ostheer having, you know, so many powerhouse upgrades for munitions early on, is not ideal. Generally do like to cap that muni point quite early on this map, personally. The squad just took a lot of damage crossing the road. But even though that sandbag is planted on a road, if they're both fighting point blank like that, it counts as neutral territory, not negative territory being on the other side of that. Just worth mentioning. Generally, still, I don't really like putting sandbags down negative cover, because if a unit does come in and flank them, it will then again count as negative cover. It's just a bit of a quirk of the cover system, that one. And, you know, a lot of these topics I don't get time to really discuss too much in casting 2v2s. Okay, so putting his tier 2 down over here, generally I like to put it on the far side, so that way I can reinforce coming out my base in both directions. Also, you have potential maybe of putting it like right up against the tree line, and sometimes you can reinforce like through it. The unit still has to run around from the side, but sometimes it's a decent idea. Okay, first mine. Hope upgrading the sweeper after that. Very slow fight over here, but eventually DaPope is going to win. He's got the 2-2 in the build now at a pretty good timing. Oh, cancelled it though. He decides to lock into assault support and go for an officer. You guys may have remembered that I was playing assault support quite a lot a couple months ago. Actually became my favorite commander. But this is a lot of infantry. Generally I like going 3 grenadiers, 2 to 2 and the officer. Because I feel like you just really need the 2 to 2 though. And honestly, DaPope, considering he's kind of like up against a Soviet player who's 1 squad down and he's 1 squad up with 4 grenadier start and now maybe even 2 squads up with the officer. Probably should have had more territory control than this so far in this match. But yeah, guards. Looks like Haaallow was trying to save a bunch of manpower to call in double guards, and they do actually have a pretty fast cooldown. I think it's 25 seconds. Whereas I believe like some other infantry call-ins are like 45. A reasonable amount, but guards are on the lower end. So this could have been a time to pop the Inspire. I don't think I could see it in the officer's unit card down the bottom, but gives all nearby units, is it like 25% accuracy boost? Maybe it's 15. Could have been a decent idea there with 2 grenadiers right next to it, and maybe could have ended up winning that fight. Bit of a close call. Grenadiers do survive though. But yeah, so far pretty good trades for Haaallow. And take a look at the KD. Actually, Haaallow doing very well to be pretty much at level pegging, considering he's using all these low value units. Relatively for their model count. And yeah, if he had built the tier 2 tech over here, this Grenadier could have kept running and reinforced on the way out. These little things do have consequences. Eventually the machine gun does get forced away on the far edge. So, pushing in. Oh, there, no, the inspiring aura is there. So you got 15% for infantry. Yeah, so if you're using that, generally I would only use it if you have 2 squads nearby. I don't think it's worth it for just 1. Or maybe if you're, trying to get a wipe, you think that the extra tiny bit of damage would make the difference, and go for it, of course. 2 squads of guards for Haaallow now. And DaPope may be feeling the impact of being a bit late on the munis. Only 2 LMGs so far on these Grenadiers. Go out to the far side to cap. Generally you want to be doing this with your Pioneer, because there are often mines planted down. In this case, we know there's only 1 combat engineer, so typically fewer mines being planted, but it's always just a good habit to get into anyway. Same makes up guarding that fuel point as well, making life very difficult for Haaallow. I mean, for DaPope, and this is where the 2-2 really comes in handy, because you can just drive here, drive to the other side of cover and start blasting the conscripts, so this cover position won't last for them. As it is now, he has to just try and fight them in a very slow firefight while he's losing fuel in the meantime. And a similar maneuver on the far side, but this time not overwhelming numbers. Tries to launch a rifle nade. Good time to launch a rifle nade, like late in the engagement. The opponent is less likely to be closely watching it, and he's fast with the dodging skills. Meanwhile, the Grenadiers come in for another rifle nade, but the guards easy dodged that one. And now this green squad is in an awkward position. DaPope has no fuel. He pushes down onto the cutoff with the Pios, though. We've got tier 3 freshly constructed by Haaallow, but based on how things are going at this stage, I don't think a T70 is necessary or a good idea. It's kind of a bit late. We could see already about 70 fuel past the T70 timing, so might as well just go for a fast tank. Now, even though you do have option to go for a KV-1, it can still be a better idea to go for a T-34 in these like very early situations. And DaPope is really rifle net happy, isn't he? Maybe part of the reason why he hasn't managed to upgrade all of these squads with LMGs yet. Good dodge there. Bring up the pack now. Can start to destroy some of these cover positions. But yeah, Haaallow actually pretty close to Tier 4 tech, and should also be building this, like, one of these structures right towards the edge of this side exit.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Killing off the sandbags though with the pack, so it'll be easier to come back out onto the side and defend those points in the future. If you've got a bit of spare time with your pack, definitely a good idea. Though you do have to be careful, you know, your opponent can hear it firing in the fog of war. So if you are up against like a light vehicle, kind of gives away your pack's positioning, and they can attack the other side of the map with confidence. Worth thinking about.
Grenadiers reporting objective captured.
We have training and discipline. Use it.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Anyway, Battle Phase 2 complete for DaPope, and getting the tech down now. Doesn't have the manpower quite for a tank.
Is out of
But
contact.
Haaallow did actually tick for AT grenades and Molotovs. Looks like gonna go straight for the KV-1.
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
Oof. Oof.
Enemy
That's some
forces
big
capturing
boy hang
supply
time. I wonder
sector.
what the hang time's going to be like in Company of Heroes 3.
Who needs engineers when you have strong Soviet back?
We have an isolated sector.
Officer capping back here. Always a good idea to try drop down some smoke in these kind of situations, so you're not just getting blasted by the guards. Of course, then the officer can charge through the smoke, so the guards have to backpedal. Maybe you can come in from the other side while that's happening. But you're no reason just to be sitting behind cover like this without using smoke. Can also charge forwards with the diversion. Better received accuracy and more accuracy on the move can help you close the distance with the officer.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
But now the heavy cover's gone, so the officer's going to start getting picked off quite quickly, and kind of just feeding vet to these guards. They're about to have vet 2 here. If he'd smoked and charged through the smoke, he very easily could have won this engagement and maybe kept capping on the far edge. So it's these small little decisions that are costing DaPope territory at the moment. Looks like Haaallow even managed to get another sandbag up over here. Gotta be careful where you're attacking these sandbags from as well, because you can end up destroying your own sandbag when your anti-tank gun misses. And KV-1 about to pop out now for Haaallow. Pretty good timing on that as well, right when the fuel was available. Back the other way, DaPope. Panzer IV in the build. Once he had the manpower for it, largely.
I await your orders, Commandant.
Typically around 15 minutes is when you would expect a Panzer IV to be hitting the field. In most average games, in this case DaPope had less territory than average, but because he didn't go for a 222, had that extra 30 fuel to speed things up a bit, so you know, maybe 1 minute slower than usual, not a huge deal. But yeah, the ultimate strength of this commander I found was the strafing run. Relatively expensive, but I just found, you know, these Soviet units are so hard to bleed or wipe. So hard to gain territory against them, but if you can suppress them, typically in 1v1 they don't have anti-air, so you can just gain a lot of territory control, force them into some really bad trades. So it does have vet, could perhaps consider using the artillery mortar barrage on this building. Seems to be giving them a lot of issues. And there's the KV-1. Does, of course, trade very well against a Panzer IV. Panzer IV backing away. The pack is in position. KV-1 decides to disengage at just the right time. Of course, the Panzer IV far faster than the KV-1, so can run away cleanly.
The enemy is taking our territory.
This IV comes back in briefly. Only one PO for repairs as well. Oh, Grenadier's down for DaPope out the side. Ooh, seems like he's getting a little bit overwhelmed. Somehow the pack didn't have vision of the KV there. Oh, so clumped up coming through that little choke point. And that was a very necessary wipe, because DaPope was really in big trouble before that happened. With one Grenadier down, his opponent has a stronger tank, better composition. Not anymore though. Haaallow though not actually going for an anti-tank gun at this stage, which I think would be advisable to do.
We are losing territory.
You know, you can't always rely on your tank to fight against their tank. The threat of the engine damage, especially on such a slow vehicle like the KV-1, you have to respect it. So you need an infantry-based form of anti-tank in most cases, and okay, DaPope calling in the planes quite early and calling in a rifle nade as well. I mean, not really necessary, as you saw there. The guards were going to get pinned and retreat anyway. Bit of a waste of munis. More sandbags up on the far side, but Haaallow on the wrong side of them. That's why I always like to queue up a drag command after planting the sandbags, so you always get onto the right side of them
Troops are standing by.
once you're done planting. Sometimes it's especially bad for those Soviet sandbags, because your squad can kind of bunch up weirdly once they complete capping. But a Stug is actually a pretty good idea, I think, against the KV-1. You can exploit its low move speed. The KV-1's armor is not that strong that the Stug struggles to penetrate it as well. I mean, while waiting for a rebuild on the guards, I think he's going to try go for a second KV.
Are capturing our supplies.
Could also be the SU-85, would be the safest option. Firing in. AT gun from the side as well. Still doing a lot of damage. KV-1's going to be out for repairs for a long time. Haaallow did build a second combat engineer though.
Enemy forces are
Upgraded
attempting
them
to
with the
capture
sweeper.
our territory.
But DaPope seems to have stabilized a good amount, with Haaallow not really having the answer at this stage. No anti-tank gun himself. Didn't have a second vehicle on the field yet, but it's going to be an SU-85. Is the safest option. Can outrange the Stug. Really take it to it.
The enemy is attempting to steal
It
our
also has
sector.
the munis for the strafing run now. Not a very strong ability though. That was one of the big nerfs to this commander back when it used to be meta. Used to have loiter instead of the strafe, which was far better.
Our machine gun turret has been installed.
So between that and the KV-1, those are the two big nerfs that kind of established guard motor as by far the dominant force from then on. This commander couldn't really compete. Okay, I'm on board with the green medkit usage like that.
Team is ready for action.
Some nice healing value done. Quite clumped up as they are in firing positions mode. I wouldn't have bothered with that personally. And now the guards are about to die. Panzer IV though didn't try to chase at all.
Enemy forces
Officer,
are controlling the sector.
missed opportunity there for DaPope. Bit of a lucky break for Haaallow. That's a situation where you should consider using diversion to get the extra accuracy on the move to help with the chase down, but I think DaPope just wasn't really focused on that, and there's quite a lot of action going on in the center he has to defend against. And there we go, the SU-85 makes its presence felt. Haaallow bringing in the planes, getting some big damage on those team weapons. Still having to come back in, the KV-1 from the side. It's the D-crew on the pack. This is where the SU-85 should be trying to kill off the D-crew weapon. KV's taking a lot of damage though. Looks like the SU-85 is instead going to chase down the Stug, but misses a shot. That can work there from me. And yeah, maybe a little bit too hungry for the finishing blow. Haaallow pushing him very far. Pushing this far, you never know when like a fresh pack's just going to pop out of their base and can completely turn the situation on its head. And this is another situation where the officers should be dropping smoke on the pack, just to make sure you can re-secure it. But it looks like Haaallow kind of giving up this position more easily than I would have expected. Now the SU-85 actually in a bit of trouble. Got stuck on the point. And just to get out of there. There was an opportunity for DaPope to Faust and get a bit of extra damage, but not taken. But yeah, you can see why I said this is where you should have just tried to kill off the D-crew pack, because now all that advantage that Haaallow had kind of evaporated. Didn't really amount to much that entire fight. And the KV is feeding quite a lot of vet to these Ostheer tanks now as well. So it's going to be battle phase 3 for DaPope. SU-85 getting a decent hit on there. Doesn't manage to cap the MG fire there, gets suppressed too early. Just coming in from the side for a big old Molotov. Calm reaction from DaPope, just repositioned slightly. And still loads of VPs left for both players. That VP clock has been very slow so far, constantly having 1 point neutral. I mean, Crossroads does tend to favour longer games, but this is maybe even slow for Crossroads. Okay, good amount of damage there. This is still a situation where I would drop the Panzerfaust. He just got the munis for it. Slowing down the SU-85, very valuable. Means that now he could rush in with his tanks, maybe catch the KV-1 isolated out on the far side. Get some damage done to it. With SU-85 unable to assist. As it stands, this plane activation might not result in too much, but here he goes now, the KV-1 off to the side. Got at least a second dose of suppression done. It's for up to the far side, not up to much, but here it comes now. And I'm guessing DaPope maybe going to try save for the Tiger. Again, the guards go into firing positions mode. There's the suppression, final pass from that. Everyone charging in here. Take a Faust. Gets engine critted. He's keeping the guards pinned by firing at them. And the Stug is going to move in for a bit of extra damage. Bouncing again. He's getting a bit bad. This is where the conscripts should be uraring in for an AT grenade. But they're pressuring the pack and they get the 18-8. SU-85's back up to full strength, though now the Stug could be in some trouble. The Panzerfaust coming in from the side. Pack needs to stay in the area just in case the SU-85 chases, but looks like Haaallow not going to chase. Oh, but this could be another anti-tank grenade. Yes, it is. Now both of these tanks with the engine crit, the SU-85 could look for something. Maybe pop it onto focus vision and try hunt for some damage. You're probably not going to get any kills, or you could even use tracking, which can help you spot the vehicles in the mini map a bit further out. Decide if you want to dive in. Don't see that used too often, but this could be a decent application of it. Probably wouldn't be trying to take cover on something like that at this stage. The Panzer IV could just easily roll up and get a squad right. The juice that the cover's providing is not worth the squeeze. But yeah, DaPope at the end of all this, still with a decent VP lead. They're saying those planes are very good. He's just about got them again. Especially on a map like Crossroads, where you typically have a lot of munitions. Makes those big loiters very potent. Planes coming in for both players. Looks like the trees blocked a little bit of that fire though, so the pack didn't take too much. The officer's in some trouble though. Ooh, okay, is alive at least. These squads end up retreating. Oh my god, again on the wrong side of cover. This time the Panzer IV knocking it out fast. Targets the retreating units. Panzer IV pushing in. He's got the skirts now. Can operate with a little bit more confidence against the KV-1, but not against the SU-85. Button activated, but was at max range, so broken almost immediately. Didn't slow down the Panzer IV for long. Guards running back in here. Probably going to take the final pass of the strafing plane. But you can see how strong this plane is. You know, the Soviet player has to go for a quad specifically to shoot these down. And I feel like if they do, then that kind of gives you claw back a little bit of what feels like a Soviet popcap efficiency situation. It's always seem to squeeze in a little bit more units than you do. Okay, it's going to be a Katyusha now for Haaallow. It's a good idea. Looking to settle in for the long game. Do have the ML20 rather, in this commander, but it's not very good. Cancels that for a second SU-85. That's fine. Had enough for the Katyusha and SU-85 just about anyway, both of them. So don't think the cancel was 100% necessary. But yeah, another reason why I do like this commander against Soviets, I feel like the Tiger has the firepower to actually bleed the infantry. And even though the SU-85 does give the Tiger trouble, then you can fire back with the packs. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game when it comes down to execution at that stage. A lot of damage. Trading on both sides. Beat 2 on the pack now for DaPope, so it's got a nice rate of fire. The Stuck has felt a little bit inactive for the last maybe 5 minutes or so. Hasn't been doing much. And we've got a big move coming out to the side for DaPope. Looks like he didn't reinforce everything. Trying to save manpower for that Tiger. But he's pretty much pop-capped now once everything is reinforced. This is his composition. WSU-85 is blasting hard. He's dropping down the planes, but they target the conscripts in the center instead of the guards. So the guards not really containing the pack. The WSU-85 is backing away here, but I don't think they needed to. Meanwhile, the KV switches sides, goes for the officer, and wipes it. So no more vision from that officer. It's one of the big boosts as well from this commander. That officer vision's so helpful. Oh, there go the SU-85s from the side. Pack had to retreat to base, so it can't assist at all. The Panzer IV having to blitz away to safety. W35 is doing big work there. But yeah, there's one thing, you know, you can't rely on what exactly the strafing line's going to target, so as we saw, target the guards, targeted the conscripts instead, and cause some issues for the pack potentially. But I think in this situation a second pack is better than the Strug anyway. Especially because Haaallow is now going for a T-34 instead of the Katyusha. It's just double packs can fire back so effectively against these 35s, can kill them so quickly that they have to really stay vigilant.
T-34 ready for combat.
Especially if they have a high vet like this one does. Looks like he just reinforced this one though, didn't leave it back there for healing. Could mean it gets decreed faster. I think in these situations, when you're not under that much pressure, you still got a lot of VPs. Or left the pack back at base to heal up to full, or perhaps, you know, use a Grenadier or Pioneer med kit on it. Again, not on the wrong side of cover. We've seen that backfire twice for Haaallow so far. Especially against something like the Tiger, which is repairing nearby. That could be nasty. Looks like maybe a bit of an attempt coming down this side. Or DaPope. T-34 looking to come around the corner here. There's not a lot back here that really can do. And I think DaPope maybe heard it in the fog because he's making tracks to get over here. Looks like T-34 crushed a bunch of this wall. So now T-34 isolated. Pack misses a crucial shot though that might allow this to escape. Oh no, there it goes. There's a high chance though that Tiger would be out of range for that final shot. Or missed because it was firing on the move, so it was a close call for Haaallow, but yeah, you got to be careful about running over terrain like this. Completely gave away that move. H-85 now though, blasting away at this Tiger. It's trying to get away. He's got the vet. Pops the blitz because of that. It looks like it's going to be just fine. He's been capping out the side as well, DaPope, and now he's coming through the center with the Panzer IV, looking for some rear armor shots. Oh, there's not enough damage though. W-35's line up for a big 1-2. Trying to exit. Looks like it's going to survive at least. It is capping. I think I would just retreat here. They're pretty well spread out, but why take the risk, you know? Still got so many VPs left. Keeping your squad alive is much more important than the victory points at this stage of the game. A lot of repairs now for DaPope. But yeah, I feel like DaPope maybe needs a bit more practice with the officer. You know, these specialized units do require a bit of getting used to. It took me probably you know, about 6 hours of playing with this commander to actually fully get to grips with how to get the most out of the officer. So if you haven't got practice with it, don't expect to be able to use it perfectly straight away. And it can be worth going into cheap mods and just trying things out a bit with it. Try to get comfortable faster. He's got enough for the planes yet again, and now finally managed to scrape together enough manpower for that second anti-tank gun to help contain these Su-85s. Planes coming in from both directions, from Haaallow and DaPope. But yeah, look at how much it's suppressed. Very, very powerful. Forced away all this infantry, allows the pack free operation. Again, this is a situation where a medkit on the pack I think would be a good choice. Maybe on the machine gun as well. lining up on the KV is not a good idea. Should be targeting SU-85s instead. Haaallow has to give up this position. Oh. Capping up the far side now. Both players with a surplus of fuel, so fuel point's not that important anymore.
We are losing
And
territory.
Haaallow is going to go into the Katyusha now. Doesn't have the room in his army for it though. It's 14 and he's only got 11. It's 12 actually, okay.
Rocket launcher on the field.
Now let's drop a couple models, can get it. And oh, there we go, big firing line from the SU-85s. Looks like the pack doesn't have vision, or maybe it's just out of range. Hard to tell if that bush is actually there or not. It's been fully crushed. That's a huge amount of damage on the Tiger. That's a lot of repairs now. MG setting up. Bit slow getting the units mobilized. And here comes the Katyusha. This is a juicy target over here. Ooh, DaPope trying to dodge forwards. Oh! The 3 pack is still alive though.
300 points.
The fresh pack also surviving. Wow.
Pacific close air support is available.
For meanwhile doing some crushing shenanigans on the far side. Pretty hard to crush with the Panzer IV if you don't pop blitz. They did a decent job. KV up to Vet 3, so it's the Panzer IV now. A lot of reinforcements for DaPope though. And he went for Battle Phase 3, but he didn't put the Tier 4 tech structure down, so doesn't get any of those reinforcement cost bonuses. Typically, I don't recommend putting Tier 4 down just for that. It takes such a long time to pay it back. It's, you know, about 2 manpower cheaper per model. 50 models have to die for it to pay itself off. But maybe, you know, maybe in a Crossroads situation with so many VPs like this, you could consider it. Again, suppressing plane, working very well against Haaallow. Needs a bit of infantry in here to provide some vision for these packs, so once the tanks back away, packs can continue to work. The conscripts just out of the circle. Might take the final pass though. Maybe not. Probably this conscript on the far side, Tiger. This is a decent idea, trying to hide behind these buildings from the SU-85s, trying to sneak some damage in. Some good results. But yeah, so far this Tiger has just been getting blasted by these SU-85s just time and time again. Hasn't really had an opportunity to show its strength. DaPope, I think, needs a little bit more coordination on his plane attacks. He just seems to be dropping them down where he doesn't have enough army to really capitalize
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
on what they're providing. Second Katyusha barrage in. Packs here lining up, but the guards are coming in from the side. At least now DaPope knows that he's not up against, he can wait and be more aggressive with these machine guns. Because the Katyusha's already fired. I'll bring in the planes once more. Oh, and this time the Vet 3 pack does get decrewed. Recovers it with the green deal immediately. So Can't see. Oh, Grenadiers overstaying their welcome though. Oh, but the S-35 tries to come in for the Panzer IV, takes a big volley. Oh, but the kill shot is missed. Heartbreaker for DaPope. Capping out now on the far VP. Good idea from DaPope. Haaallow has left this side undefended most of the match. He's come out here with sweepers as well, just in case. That's good, you know, if you are having trouble with your opponent in one area of the map, such as with their S-35 positioning. Just go to the other side of the map, especially if they're using a KV-1 instead of a faster tank like a T-34. Rotation's not going to be that good. Okay, planes coming down from DaPope once again. They target the conscripts out to the far side. They're already getting suppressed anyway though, so not ideal targeting on that. Here comes the Katyusha again. Pack just staying set up. Before comes out to the far side, fast retreat. This time the pack gets decrewed. This was the high vet one again. Grenadiers providing vision of this Su-85. Enough for 2 shots there. Su-85 very wounded now. Can't afford to come back in. And this pack is pushing all the way in here. I don't know where he's going with it. Shot in, but there's no support, so this could actually get decrewed now by the KV. And well, I mean, that was a pretty lucky shot from the KV, but he was on the road, I think, amplifying the damage. Capping now on the far side with the conscripts. But yeah, that was very aggressive. If he had like a Tiger still maybe 2/3 health, he could have sustained that kind of pressure, I think, but seeing the AT gun up there by itself was a bit too risky. Looks like DaPope's going to go for another Panzer IV. That's interesting. I wonder if he's going to try go Katyusha hunting with that one. Doesn't look like we've got any mines down guarding the Katyusha at this stage. So it could be a decent idea. It's right the way back at base though. It can be hard to find those kind of opportunities. Like the guards are going to kill off this decrewed pack, so now DaPope doesn't even have double packs to fight back. That is really not good. Comes the Katyusha targeting the machine gun. Damage onto the Grenadiers, but Katyusha's no more rockets, so treating through that area nice and clean. Still getting repaired up. Oh, if DaPope just killed that Su-85 earlier when that pack missed the shot, this could be a completely different story, but at the moment, really grim for DaPope. The AT gun loss is really struggling for manpower, whereas you can see Haaallow starting to build up a nice reserve. It's always, you know, always how it feels. Brings down the frag bombs, but not a clean connection. The guards didn't even move; they're on firing positions, so no squad wipe there. Typically, I just spam the planes until the Soviet player builds anti-air, and then I switch over to the frag bombs. Or if I see a real good opportunity of some like set-up team weapons. SU-85 just containing the Panzer IV. It's constant repairs at the moment. So far, Haallow's done a pretty good job of avoiding getting snared on his tanks. But this could be trouble. Grenadiers through the centre. Oh, they don't have munis for a Faust even. He's blitzing in. He wants to kill on the KV. But it's not enough. Oh, now the SU-85s are really hammering it home. Coming in from the side. This one backed away though. And that just allows the Tiger to escape. He already used Blitz, so he couldn't have driven away fast enough. So slight misplay by Haaallow, playing too conservatively with the SU-85 as the Tiger does survive.
We have lost a pack gun.
Nice Katyusha barrage though, pack decrewed, and it's hanging on by a thread, and the SU-85 polishes it off. Now it's really looking grim for DaPope. Oh, and Grenadier's dead in the centre. Oh, what a collapse all of a sudden. Maybe he's just experiencing fatigue. 47 minutes into this game now. Control seems to have dropped off quite a lot in these last couple minutes. Now the SU-85 is really ruling the battlefield. DaPope almost forced back into his base. Still doing a good job capping the far VPs though. And Haaallow is actually still behind in that. But he's just got so much of an army advantage.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
KV-1 just about done on its repairs. Dodges the rifle nade. But trying to hold on over here. Have to expect a grenade from the guards though. It's pretty much the only way they were going to win this engagement. It's one of those situations where you need to be very sharply watching for a grenade. You know, 3-man guards versus 3-man grenadiers in cover. You know, the grenadiers in cover are going to win that fight. So the grenade was basically the only way Haaallow could have won that. So those are the situations where the grenade is expected. And they dropped the LMG as well. As combat engineers could pick it up perhaps. Especially the one with the sweeper. Try and get it some more veterancy. Bounces there. Tiger's about 80% chance to penetrate, something like that. Oh, Conscript's trying to get the 18-8 off. The MG doesn't manage to get the suppression going. And now the pack getting focused from the side. The Panzer IV mobilizing, trying to save the day. The Conscripts have to give up the chase, but now their pack's in some big trouble. And the other SU-85 that was camped on the far side, dealing with this Panzer IV now. Conscripts continuing to chase, and again, this is where if you built the tech right at the edge, he could have reinforced from much further out with that pack. Maybe held his position more effectively. Katyusha barrage though, a bit of a whiff. He actually kind of retreats back into it. If the Katyusha was out of range or maybe facing the wrong direction when he started the barrage. Pyrus dead in the center. It's just a slow and painful death for DaPope at the moment. Getting ground out by this Soviet force. Managed to get himself back to the double packs, but now with only one Pioneer, he's got so much repairs waiting for him back here. I'm going to go on to double time because I feel like there's not going to be much happening while these tanks are out for repair. Alright. Okay, so double packs are rolling up, but again, a bit too aggressive from DaPope. He's dropping down the planes to make this a bit safer. Haaallow also bringing in the plane. Chips away one SU. Oh, the guards go down. Nice little kill. Close call on this pack, though. That's extremely low. Meanwhile, MG gets flanked by the conscripts out the side and decrewed as well.
The enemy has broken our supply line.
Again, there's no infantry to support this for DaPope anymore. He's lost all of his squads. So it kind of makes it difficult for this plane to even have vision on what it's suppressing, let alone, you know, threatening snares that can actually help kill these tanks off. I'm going to double speed again while there's not much going on.
We have 200 points remaining.
Got back up to the double pies for the repairs. Should probably upgrade one of these with the sweeper, this fresh one. Panzer 4 out to the far side. MG still available here to recover. Maybe a slight mistake from Haaallow not to kill that off. Where was that man going? Wasn't even a man from this squad. He's still at 7 models. Okay, double AT guns lining up here, but Haaallow, I think, maybe trying to bait that.
Squad of pioneers has arrived.
Chusha barraging in the area. Doesn't get the result, but it was a good attempt. Third Pio now for DaPope. Looks like he's going to send that one out to try and recover the machine gun. Still have that LMG on the ground. It's a mine here. There's actually another one there as well. I was had plenty of time to plant mines. Got them all over the show.
Enemy forces.
And here we go. Tiger coming out to the far side. Oof, just getting hammered. Popping the blitz to escape. C-35's nice and fast though. It's vet bonuses, able to chase this down for quite some time. Double AT guns trying to come in, but there's no support for them. So they're exposed to the conscripts. Now backing away. C-35 coming in from this side now, but with the conscripts getting forced away, no support. Panzer IV's in some trouble. The double packs just don't know whether to fight or run away and heal. Kind of the worst of both worlds at the moment for DaPope. Panzer IV meanwhile coming in for a bit of a crush or something. I'm not sure where that is going. It's going to take an engine crit and just get slaughtered. Very confusing move. Here comes the Tiger though. He finds an opportunity for this SU-85 kill. Haaallow drops down the planes. Looking for the double AT gun decrew. Decrew's one of them since it was quite low in health from all that conscript fire. SU-85 coming across. It's one shot on. Conscript's pressuring. The pack. Is DaPope going to try to crew it? He does. It costs him a Pio. Pack missing a shot on the SU-85, and SU-85 decides to back out, but he's going to block it with his own KV. Oh, this is a disaster all of a sudden. Oh, and not so lucky this time. The SU-85 dies. Conscript dead as well. G42 seeing to that, and all of a sudden DaPope is right back in this match. This was pretty much sewn up, but that SU-85 getting blocked by his own KV-1. Setting Haaallow right the way back. Still has the VP lead and still there's so much to rebuild. You know, he's got 2 SU-85s almost completed already. Still big losses though. Those were both Vet 3 SU-85s. Just missing all of this penetration and accuracy. Penetration especially good against that Tiger. Reload the move speed. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, maybe too confident with this. Oh, the Tiger bounces the kill shot. Might have been a different story if that was a Vet 3 SU-85. Close call for DaPope, but I can understand what he's trying to do there. He's so far behind he felt he had to use the Tiger. Had to take a risk. But oh, he overstays his welcome. That KV-1 actually quietly accumulating 46 kills, done very well for itself. Panzer 4 though, been on the field for a similar amount of time, up to 55. Seems like more squad wipes to the KV though, which is more important, but maybe more likely to happen with the 4-man squads instead of 6-man. Packs need to come a little bit further back to get in range of the med bunker. Send them back onto the field at this amount of health just means if they get pressured by infantry, they'll be decrewed so quickly. Or if they get hit by the strafe, where ordinarily they might survive it, they will now get decrewed. Focus sight mode can see them coming. He's dropping down the planes. Keeps his nerve, just runs forwards with them. Panzer 4 trying to blitz in. Able to knock out that SU-85, nicely done. And now the Panzer 4 getting buttoned. Can the PTRSs finish the job? The SU-85's on focus sight mode. Can't chase. 43 points remaining. We've got DaPope coming out to the far side. There's a lot of mines down here though. Call the officer just desperate to have something on the field to cap with. He's draining out so fast, 34 points and the triple cap's going. Maybe one now circling these packs. It's the decrew. Both of them. Looks like that's kind of the last hope of DaPope. Now extinguished. Just blitzing in from the side. Yeah, he can actually leave the KV-1 and maybe try to get onto the rear armor of the Tiger. Kill on it anyway. Did manage to cap out the far side here, but 14 points left. Steals the machine gun. KV-1 coming in from the side, could get some rear armor hits going. Bounces a shot on the SU-85, that's a bit of bad luck. Or DaPope ends up trading. Probably would have lost it to the KV anyway. Imagine he's jammed the cap there for a while, but decided to retreat. Fresh SU-85 on the field now anyway. And pack decrewed just as quickly as he recovered it. Shusha into the center now. Conscripts jamming the cap. And the Pies go down. KV now.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Nice rate of fire on that KV-1. It's already got a higher rate of fire than the T-34, but now with all these vet bonuses popping off shots, real good. Pope managed to stop the clock here at least, but guys out on this side, conscripts here, officers. Doesn't have much of a hope. Complete the capture, but loses its life in the process. And there goes the Panzer 4. Looks like that's it. So yeah, it was a bit of a an unusual game. I think, as I said, my recommended build: 3 Grenadiers. Go for the 222. Go for the officer. DaPope with a slightly unusual build, and considering you went 4 Grenadiers and Haaallow only had 3 conscripts and 1 combat engineer, DaPope should have been able to convert that into more territory in the first 10 minutes of the game. But it wasn't really the case. So he's behind, though maybe hit on victory points, behind overall, though in terms of army and fuel. And that caused the KV-1 to arrive before the 1st Panzer IV, gave Haaallow a dominant position for most of the rest of the match. DaPope kind of got back into an equal position at one stage, but then suffered maybe a lapse of concentration, losing a couple units over here, extending with this pack past the road. And that kind of put him right back in trouble once again. But yeah, hopefully you guys can see these planes very potent. Just requires maybe a little bit more coordination than what we saw from DaPope. Kind of just popped them down when he didn't have a bunch of units ready to make a push on the back of that, which was maybe a touch wasteful, though it's still good, you know, still meant that he could lock down at least half of the map without too much trouble. But yeah, a solid play from Haaallow, some pretty good strafing runs from him, decrewing the weapons, and just, yeah, overall very good preservation. But yeah, that early game, 3 conscripts, only 1 combat engineer, that's going to get you in a lot of trouble most of the time. Well, anyway, guys, wrapping that. If you like what can be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you off the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.